Yes, Pretzelman 945 here. Welcome back to another video. In today's video, what we're going to be doing is reading hilariously bad negative reviews for the house in Fata Morgana. I just made my video on it literally a few minutes ago. It's still uploading uh as as I'm recording this. Um But, I looked on the Metacritic page, and, if we go back to the main page here, the, met yeah, the critic score is insanely high. It is a 96, which is just ridiculous. Obviously, this is, like, specifically Dreams of the Revenant edition, which is the one that has all the, co- uh, content uh by itself, like, um I'm not gonna do that. It's the one that has all the bits of content in there. And so, when you see the critic reviews, it's like 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100. Jesus, there's a lot of 100s. Even like the 90s and 85s and 80s are like very, very fair in my opinion. And so are a lot of the positive user reviews, but you notice the user score is significantly lower than the critic score. And, I had a bit of a gander through some of these negative reviews, and they are absolutely fucking hilarious. And I wanted to look through some of them for this video. Like this one from Sarah Chan 123. Why is this game in the top 10? I don't understand. It's average. Uh the art is basically Japanese visual kei. I mean, maybe it is. I haven't actually played a visual kei, like visual novel. I've only kind of watched the anime adaptation of it, which in this case would be Clanad. So, oh yeah, yeah. There was this German review, which I don't remember exactly what it said, so we're gonna read this out. I'm just gonna make sure it is German. Yeah, it is German. Okay. The House in Fata Morgana is beloved by critics, but not every player will enjoy it. If you're not a fan of extremely low pacing, lengthy monologues, and very text-heavy visual novels, this game can quickly feel like a tedious, endless slog. That's fair. Not everyone is a fan of visual novels, especially not ones that are as long as this. This I don't agree with though. The plot does not take forever to get going. I think it's very clear within the first door. Like, you know, I think it's pretty smooth. Like, you're introduced to the maid and all that, and then like the first door starts. The melancholic tone, often depressing tone, can be exhausting. Unnecessarily over dramatic, artificially drawn out plot twist that I definitely do not agree with. Um, I guess the art style isn't required taste, but I don't really agree with that. Um, yeah, that's just kind of a garbage review. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No voice acting, no quotation mark. Bland art, wrong. Pretentious story, wrong. It is not overrated. A bunch of these reviews are just like, I think, little kids or that didn't know um that didn't know that didn't know what to do with it. Uh Obviously this is like my opinion versus other people's opinion, so like, other people are going to disagree with me on this game, but it's clear that these people are in a minority, and I think that their reviews are kind of funny. Um, I feel like I should have clarified that. This video is not really making fun of people that don't like this game. Visual novels are not for everybody. This is really the first real visual novel I played was The House in Fata Morgana. I really liked it, so I think I'm gonna like other visual novels, but I didn't know if I would like visual novels before I played it. So, um, this is supposed to be a crit story. The first story was a nice story, good characters, a terrible no sense ending. Um, it changes characters because you're looking through the history of the mansion, so of course it's going to be different characters. Um, that is exactly what it is. Different tales narrated by the maid. Um, basically no choice to be made. I mean, to be honest, I don't know how because this is the only visual novel I've ever played, I don't know how it compares to other visual novels in terms of being uh choice heavy or not. There are not that many choices that you make throughout the game, but they are all very important ones. So, um, I disagree with this because there are several that you do make. Um, not even finish the game. I wonder how many hours it got because it seems like this would be probably like before door 4, door 5 type. Um, this one, you know, people who don't like Fata Morgana or know the visual novel can be compared to other video games. uh, oh yeah, yeah. This is not a game. It's a bad click-through novel, except it's not. It is a video game. Um, visual novels are video games. It is a ripoff, and Nintendo will not refund you if you buy this fraud. Stay well away. Okay. Uh, okay. This is a bit more of a, this is a very long one. Okay, let's see what this says. Game story is great. Uh, this guy likes visual novels. Very with the same formula as video games. Visual novels can only focus on story and get mainly rated based on story, while the usual gameplay makes up 50% of the score and stuff. Okay, so and to all say that all cable they're dumb. uh, so I understand. Well, I mean, they say they rated this 7, but I think they might have just messed it up. This particular review actually makes a quite interesting point that like visual novels um could not be rated the same as video games, and I think that he actually puts it, or I don't know if it's a he or she. Papa Pizzy, put, they put it in a quite nicely explained thing here. I don't know if I necessarily agree with the point, but I do think that they make a good point nonetheless. This isn't a video game. This shouldn't be on the best video games of all time list here at all, since you don't play any part of this game and it is just a book. Okay. uh, this was funny to look through. But like, you can tell that this is clearly my own. Look at all these tens I'm just scrolling through in a row here. Um, Wish there was a little bit more explanation. That's completely fair. I understand that. Um, uh, yes, it does. The eeriness of the game does stick with it till the end. That is very much true. Oh, okay. This review is in Japanese, so let's boot up our old friend Google Translate again here. If we're comparing scenarios of the same type, confession is more interesting. This one is too long and drags on. Um, I don't really know what this is talking about. Like scenarios, as in the different doors. Like this just does not make any sense to me. Um. Okay. Five here. So, having reached a proper ending, I'm left with very mixed feelings. It started off nicely enough with no mystery and reeling in. Um, Story at its core is truly compelling. The slowly unraveling weave is incredibly impressive. Redundancy and unnecessary subplot. I don't feel like any of the choices that came along do anything but sandbag the reader if I'm lucky enough to pick the wrong option. So I personally don't agree with that idea because I think that it's easy enough to be able to save in this game if you do accidentally make a wrong choice. And if you're anything like me when playing this game, where you save like every fucking 10 minutes, um, then like I don't really think that that's really a problem. I don't really understand what this person is referring to when they say redundancy and unnecessary subplot. Okay, redundancy actually maybe a tiny bit, just because there is often a lot of the same scenes that are viewed from different perspectives across different doors. I can see how that could maybe be a little bit redundant, though I don't agree with it. And I don't understand what this person is talking about with unnecessary subplot. Um, the plentiful dialogue feels unnaturally bloated in the way a lot of Japanese translated games do. I mean, that could be a trend among Japanese translated visual novels I'm just not familiar with. I'm not sure. Um, this I don't agree with, to be honest. I thought actually the final epilogue and all that stuff was actually pretty well paced, and it I don't feel like it really dragged on. So I understand parts of where this person is coming from, but I disagree with other ones. After playing the game, I can still taste shit in my mouth. This thing was so bad. If you want to have a good time, as well buy it just to break the story, just to break it. Uh, this story is bad. Okay, what? That was hard to read because the grammar didn't make any sense. You need to be dumb as shit to give 0 to 3 score like the kids on this site lol. This is so true. Okay, literally, this is proven with the very next review. Terrible gameplay. This game is so lazy and is really not good at all. Very boring. No reasoning at all. And basically the same exact review here. This game is boring. The gameplay is not good. Anything here, not everything. Anything is so bad. Don't like it. Okay. Um. The characters, pacing, and overall story lacking. The first three doors are uneventful. Okay, I hard disagree with that, especially about the third door in terms of being uneventful and boring. Um, okay, the choice where you proceed to the second half of the game is not one of the 3 second choices. There are like two choices that are need to be made in 3 seconds in the game, but that's not one of them. So I think that this review is blatantly wrong about that. Um, I think that the true ending was not predictable I mean, I guess it was predictable in the sense that it is the happy ending, but like I didn't I disagree with the idea of is that it because to me, um it sort of feels very satisfying because it's what that has been trying to get toward the entire time. Um as I touched on in one of the previous reviews, the dialogue is very verbose, and it can seem redundant at certain times. I can see where people come from with that, but I don't agree with it that much myself. Um, fair points, I think, at some uh, points of this, but I disagree with a lot of what they're saying. But I understand where they're coming from. Um, Good-ish visual novel. Then why'd you give it a three? um, you didn't enjoy it personally. Okay, that's fine. I do wish there was more reasoning. This is the funniest one so far. This is in a game. How come Citizen Kane isn't on the best games of all time list? That is just incredibly stupid logic. Why? And then this one. It is a visual novel and is nowhere near the leagues of Breath of the Wild and Odyssey, so it just could not be rated near them. Well, that's not how critic ratings work. Um, gameplay you just read text. I don't know if this is an accurate statement about Pokemon Rangers. I've never played Pokemon Rangers. If I don't know if it's a lot of text and a bit of gameplay. I have no idea. Like I've heard the name Pokemon Rangers before, but I know nothing about the game at all. Um, it's literally a visual novel with barely any interactivity. So again, I don't know if like this visual novel has fewer choices compared to other ones, but um, I don't know if I'd call it barely any. It's just if this was like DLC, I oh, is it Doki Doki Literature Club? Is it as good as Sonic 06 or some dumb joke? Oof, that's rough. Okay, it's tedious. I disagree. The dialogues, it's something year old girls witting in their blogs. Um, I could not disagree more with that sentiment, considering how grand a lot of the dialogue feels at times. I don't think it's something 14-year-old girls wit about in their blogs. Um, we got a pretty long one here. Visual novel genre is something difficult to understand. It's clearly not for everyone. Yep, but that goes for any genre. You can't be a fan of everything out there. Nothing to do with the game. Okay, so this person's actually sane in that respect. A visual novel contains only a story to clearly can really find if the story is good enough and visuals, text, all come with the story. Far too long. We've talked about this. I don't really agree with this criticism, but I can understand where they're coming from. Um, you know, in situations like this, especially, is a character evil? Here are several scenes to show just how evil he is, even though that was from the start. My counter argument to this kind of point, especially because I think this is where a lot of people would say there is a lot of redundant dialogue. My counter to this point is the fact that there is, in my opinion, a lot of um, this thing to me from the very beginning. I compared it in my head to like a Shakespearean play type thing, where it's like this big epic thing. And as such, the fact that there is like several lines of dialogue that reveal how evil a character is, I think it does a good job of like upping the dramatic of it. And I think that it's actually succeeding in that because that's the point of it. So, I disagree with that point in particular because I think that it's actually something that um the house in Fata Morgana does to its strength. There's no need for descriptions of what we see, and yet this happens constantly. I mean, not really, because um, there isn't as much backgrounds to kind of demonstrate a very specific description of what's happening. And in fact, I really love how descriptive a lot of the dialogue and text is. It's very, very immersive. Um, why did the game made us sit through a useless, boring memory if it was only to be for a quiz? Well, that's because the entire thing was fabricated by Morgana, and that's exactly the point. So that, in my opinion, is just not a understanding of the story at all. Um, it is not twists for the sake of twists. I heavily disagree with that. Um, and it's I definitely did not get this because there are definitely twists that still shocked me toward the end of the game. The art and music doesn't stand out. That's plain wrong. Backgrounds are bland stock photos. That is an insane. This might be the most insane claim of the entire video. The fact that the backgrounds are bland stock photos. Uh, that is an insane thing to say, considering the incredible background art, especially in like doors 6, 7, and 8, which I think really up the ante of quality on that even more than the rest of the game has. Um, yeah, no, I disagree with like almost everything that that person says. Um, Hot Switch Game of the Year? Seriously? What? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Somehow visual novel did make it that high. Yes, they are games. Oh my God. Okay, I thought I saw the worst claim come across in this video. This kind of practice is destroying the industry nearly as much as microtransactions. You are meaning to tell me that labeling a visual novel as a video game, which it is destroying the video games industry as much as microtransactions is. That is utterly hilarious because microtransactions are terrible. They're often the thing that ruin a lot of live service games. Uh, this is no, this is the most ridiculous claim in the whole video. It's not even related to the damn game. Um, okay, what does this say? Which is Spanish. Rating for this game makes no sense. I highly doubt significantly it's superior to almost every other game in history. I mean, did you even play the game? Jesus 011? Visual novels are games. We have gone over this. Go read a book if you. I mean, books are great. So are visual novels. They're all great. Um, the devs should be ashamed of making such a terrible open game. Did you even play it? Um, yeah, I mean, I disagree with that, with those points. Just like giving Same n score to calculator application. Okay. Another Spanish review, which I didn't expect to see. Has a very flat and repetitive storyline. Wrong. It doesn't feature many secondary characters and lacks depth. What? I mean, I don't know who you would necessarily. If it depends, I guess, on your definition of secondary character. Like, if if your definition of secondary character is like, if you consider a character like, I don't know, Maria or something as a main character, then I guess there's a lack of secondary characters. But like, that's ridiculous. That's just utterly bonkers review. Um, okay, you know what? I think we will end off with this one here. Um, I personally think it's fun visual novels below the game or novel. The gameplay effect really like it. Um, I don't agree with the characters being cliche, and I don't understand why relating to the characters is a issue here. Um, yeah, I disagree with it dragging on. But yeah, a bunch of those were real kid, and other ones had some pretty good points that I think that I addressed my opinion on pretty well. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you later. Bye bye.